Hey there, YouTube. How's everybody doing out there today? I told you in the last video that I was going to do more videos this week, and today we are going to stray away from the subject of food. Today we're going to talk about finding peace and how other people are the path. Now I got a couple of readings I want to share with you here, and I'll kind of share a little bit of my thoughts as I go along, but I hope you can find this to be something practical. Sometimes when you share kind of spiritual type things, like people get a little too lofty with them instead of just trying to think of practical ways that they can incorporate them or share them into their day-to-day life. I was reading a little bit yesterday. I was reading a special edition of the Lion's Roar, which is a little Buddhist publication, and I bought this a couple of months ago, and this special one was celebrating the life of Thich, Nhat, Hanh, who died earlier this year. And he meant a lot to me. I've been reading his books for definitely over a quarter of a century. It sounds long when you say it like that, 25 years. And he's just really touched my life in a real positive way, and I just thought I would share this particular thing I was reading last night. And this is called Other People Are the Path by Kyra Jewel Lingo. And it's she's the author, and she's I think a novice nun, or she's a nun. Anyhow, let me just read it to you. Soon after I was ordained by Tay, that's what they call, like, I think people that actually know him nickname Tay, Thay, by Tay as a novice nun in 1999, I began to have difficulties with an elder sister. This nun had gone through a lot of suffering and could sometimes be quite harsh in her speech. That was painful for me, and I struggled with the situation as a new member of the monastic community. As novices, we were fortunate to have the opportunity to be Ty's attendants when he would come to teach at our hamlet of Plum Village every week. While Ty needed very little, it is customary in Asian culture for students to show care for their teacher as a way to learn from them more closely. So two of us novice monks or nuns would start by cleaning his room before he arrived and then spend the day with him. Besides helping him, it was time for Tay to get to know us and guide us in our practice. Excuse me. Somehow he knew that I was going through a hard time with this sister. In a quiet moment after lunch, while he was gently swinging in his indoor hammock, where he often liked to rest, he looked at me and said softly, "You know, other people are the path." He didn't say much more, but I received what he was trying to teach me, that our relationships with other people, especially the difficult ones, are the very path, the conditions that help us learn to be more free. Ty often taught us that living in community was like washing a bunch of chopsticks after a meal. You rub them up against each other and they clean each other. The abrasion is painful, but also transformative. His simple teaching that day has stayed with me ever since as an important reminder that learning to work with difficult interactions is the very purpose of the Buddhist path, and not some mistake. It is one of the many beautiful and life-changing teachings he's offered that I am so grateful for. And, you know, I was thinking about this because in my living situation and just my situation in life, I don't, in my day-to-day, in my physical interactions, I'm fortunate in that I don't have to deal with difficult people. I don't, it's not like I have family members, or I don't have a large friend circle. I don't go work in an office or somewhere where there's people to deal with. So I can kind of just avoid and I guess the best I can say for me is, like, a lot of times somebody will say something online, or you'll see something posted, you'll see a comment, you'll see somebody that actually tries to pull you into some sort of an interaction. And about the best I can do is that let it teach me just not to, let it change the way that I think, and maybe not to even think too poorly of the other person. Now, after I read this, it kind of got me to, it sounded simple. It sounded sort of like a verse I'd read in the Tao Te Ching before. So I had to do a little research, and I pulled this out. And I'm going to read something else from another book, but I want to read from this translation of the Tao Te Ching by Stephen Mitchell. This is a little copy. I've had this copy for probably 30 years. A part of it really is more relevant to the video, but I'll read the whole thing because there's wisdom in the Tao. A good traveler has no fixed plans and is not intent upon arriving. A good artist lets his intuition lead him wherever it wants. A good scientist has freed himself of concepts and keeps his mind open to what is. Thus, the master is available to all people and doesn't reject anyone. He is ready to use all situations and doesn't waste anything. This is called embodying the light. Because what is a good man but a bad man's teacher? What is a bad man but a good man's job? If you understand this, you will get If you don't understand this, you will get lost, however intelligent you are. It is the great secret. And I also wanted to look up this part. This is Dr. Wayne Dyer, Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life. And he was just living the wisdom of the Tao for a year where he wrote about this. And he expounded upon his thoughts about things of different sections. And I particularly liked this one. Don't judge yourself or others. Don't criticize the behavior or appearance of those you've assessed to be bad people. Instead, switch your thoughts to something along these lines. I am my own student and I have this opportunity to learn that I'm instructing rather than judging. I will now cease critiquing myself or any other and teach by being the Tao. If the entire world of the 10,000 things knew the simple truth that we are all one, then in my opinion, war, hostilities, confusion, and even illness would cease to exist. Why not be one individual who chooses to respect yourself and all others as teachers and as students? When you see the world as full of opportunities to help, one thought and one action at a time, you'll be living your inner light. And that's just, like I say, some simple practical stuff, because it's usually the ego that we turn to when we're dealing with difficult people. We don't necessarily try to solve the situation or manage the situation in the correct way. We generally lash out because our ego has been hurt, or we have to show that we're not soft, or we have to show that we can, butt heads with others, and give them back equal strength that they give us. But then, you just kind of find, and a lot of this stuff is not for the other person. It's kind of like the same principle as forgiveness. When we do these things, we are helping ourselves. We are really helping ourselves. I mean, not necessarily saying you should practice this in a selfish manner, but the end result is the same, because just the same as like not forgiving people or holding grudges or being angry at every little thing. It's basically like what's the analogy? You're holding on. It's like the grudge, the hate, the anger, the lack of forgiveness you're holding on to is like a burning stone in your hand, and it's burning you. It's burning you way more than it's burning the other person. And like I say, I'm not necessarily, because I'm not there yet. Like I say, the best I can do in a lot of situations is just not engage, just step back and try to, within myself, even if I'm not getting into a back and forth with this person, kind of just try to show a little bit of empathy, show a little bit of compassion, try to think about, where is this attitude from this person coming from? Why is this person difficult? What's happening in their lives? Because a lot of times, there's people out there, and I'm not saying that's an excuse for bad behavior, but a lot of times when you see things like this from people, they're struggling with something pretty significant or pretty serious, and, that can be the root cause of that behavior. But anyhow, just no real conclusion on that. Just kind of like things that I'm always kind of contemplating here, just for myself advancement, being a better person, kind of trying to actually become a person. As I've told you guys before, I kind of missed some development stage in my life, and sometimes I kind of feel like the oddball when it comes to dealing with and interacting with other humans. So anyhow, hope you may have enjoyed this video today, got a little something out of it. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up. I will see you again most likely tomorrow, because I've already got a recipe video shot. So y'all have a beautiful day, and be well. Peace.